Hey there, friends. It's Laurie. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Today, I'm sharing 4 new summer-inspired DIYs. I did use some Dollar Tree supplies. I hope you have fun crafting with me, so let's get busy. To get started, I'm recycling a glass salsa jar. Mine measures approximately 4 inches in height and 4 inches in width. Because I'll be attaching some painted clothespins to the outside, I'm first using a piece of heavy grit sandpaper and to do my best to sand off some of the shiny surface. Where you would screw the cover on and off the jar, it does leave a difference in spacing. So I'm using some of the brown nautical rope from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to add it around the top of my jar. I used my hot glue, attaching it around the top 2 times. This is the style of jar that I'm using for my vase, but depending upon what you decide to use, you may be able to skip this step completely. I'm going to be adding on the outside accents, and I'm using some of the wooden clothespins. These came from the Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to start pulling some of the clothespins apart. I'm not exactly sure how many I'll need, but I'll figure it out as I go along. I pulled a bunch of them apart and I have the flat ends facing each other, and now I'm going to find out if I have enough. I'm using a piece of jute that I had on hand. You can use a ruler or a string, and I'm wrapping it around my jar. I then measured the length against the clothespins, showing me I have the right amount. I'm using my E6000 and attaching the clothespins together. I'm sliding one flat end over the other. When you're attaching them together, make sure that your clothespins end up being taller than the jar. As I'm attaching them together, I keep evening them out so when I'm done, they'll all be the same length. I let them set up for a couple of hours, then separated them into 3 sets of 10. My vase will have a patriotic theme, so I'm painting the first 10 with red acrylic paint, and I'm painting both sides. My second set, I'm using my white acrylic paint, and once again painting both sides. I'm then finishing up my last 10 with a navy blue acrylic paint. All the colors have dried nicely, and so now I'm going to attach them onto my glass vase. I'm keeping with the patriotic theme, red, white, and blue, and I'm starting to attach them onto the glass jar using my glue gun. As I'm attaching each one, I'm making sure to keep them as straight as possible. If you're planning on using your vase outside in the sun, I would then switch to E6000 and use that to attach them instead of the hot glue. I was down to my last 2 pieces, and because of the shape of the jar, I was able to attach the top part of the white pin in place, but the bottom didn't fit in exactly perfect. So when I was done, I then attached my last blue pin next to the white, and it ended up giving it a pretty nice finished appearance. I'm adding on a ribbon accent, and I'm using some of this pretty patriotic star ribbon. It measures 1 1/2 inch, and this came from Michael's. I measured it around my vase and then cut it to size. I then added on some hot glue to attach it. You can add on any type of embellishment to decorate it. I'm going to add on one of these cardboard firecrackers that came from this Dollar Tree sign. To attach it, all I did was hot glue it into place. This was so easy and inexpensive to make, and I really love how it shows off our patriotic colors. To finish up, all I did was add in some patriotic flowers and the American flag. I'm just popping in to ask that if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking on that little red subscribe button below and leaving me a thumbs up. To all my returning friends, you know I think you're the best, and I can't wait to chat with everyone down below in the comments. I'm making a cute welcome summer sign, and I'm starting with a wooden wall shelf. It measures approximately 5 by 13.5, and it came from the Dollar Tree. I used some white acrylic paint, and I gave the front a complete coat. This next step, it's completely optional. I'm using a piece of heavy grit sandpaper, and I'm distressing all 4 sides. It's a very subtle accent, and the sandpaper slightly bevels the edges. I'm adding on the word summer, and I'm using some letters that I already had on hand. Mine measure 2 inches tall. Mine are textured and they have adhesive backing, but you can pretty much use anything at all for this sign. I painted each letter with a pretty summer color, and I just used some acrylic paints that I had on hand. Before I permanently attach them, I want to find their placement on my sign. The backings of them are super sticky, but I decided to add on a little E6000 just to help hold them in place. For the welcome part of my sign, I'm using this tin word from the Dollar Tree, but you can pretty much use anything you have on hand or that will fit within that space from the top of the sign to the word summer. I decided to paint mine blue, and I used some navy blue spray paint. I added E6000 onto the back and then centered it over the word summer. For the hanger, I'm using some blue and white gingham ribbon. Mine came from Michael's, and I cut a 30-inch piece. I attached it onto the back of the sign using my E6000. I'm adding on popsicle accents, and I'm using 2 that I found in this Dollar Tree pack. I painted the tops and the bottoms using some of the same colors that I used on my letters. I once again used my E6000 and attached them at an angle on my sign. Now that it's complete, I can't wait to hang it on my door. Getting started, I'm using a 14-inch grapevine wreath. This next step, it's completely optional. Some of the wreath will show, so I decided to give it a coat of yellow spray paint. I found this cute summertime lemon-inspired sign at the Dollar Tree, so I'm going to use this as the center focal point. I'm first attaching the sign to my wreath, so I removed the hanger, and now I'm using 3 pieces of 18-inch floral wire. Before I attach them, I'm folding each one in half. I turned my sign over, added some hot glue on the 3 sides without the leaves, and then attached my floral wire. After attaching all 3, I then gave the glue a few minutes to set up. I placed the sign on the center of my wreath, and I did give myself a little extra room on the left. This way I'll have some added room to add on the greenery and the flowers, and then I just twisted the wires tightly around the wreath. I'm using 4 branches of willow greenery. These came from Temu, but you can use any type of greenery for the base of your wreath. I'm cutting all of mine into individual stems. I don't have any set pattern. I'm just adding some hot glue onto the end of the stems and tucking them in between the grapevine. As I was attaching the leaves, I made sure that all of them were heading in the same direction. I'm adding on some floral accents, and I was looking for some flower colors that would match my sign. I found 2 bunches of these pretty coral color flowers at the Dollar Tree. I'm using my clippers and snipping each flower away from the main stem. Before I permanently attach them, I'm going to do my best to try to evenly space them around my wreath. I'm using 9 flowers in all. I'll have 3 left over, and I'll just hang on to those and use them in another project. Happy with their placement, I'm now using my hot glue gun to attach them. I'm adding on 1 bunch of these pretty blue peonies, and I found these at the Dollar Tree as well. There are 5 flowers in this bunch, and I'm cutting each one away from the main stem. And now, just like the other flowers, I'm evenly spacing these around my wreath. I'm now using my glue gun to permanently attach them. My next addition are 2 bunches of small white flowers. These did come from the Dollar Tree, and they do call them baby's breath, but I think I would just call them small white flowers. I've snipped them off into individual stems, and now I'm evenly spacing these, just like the others, around my wreath. I'm happy with their placement, so once again, I'm using my glue gun to permanently attach them. I'm also adding in 1 bunch of small yellow flowers from the Dollar Tree. These are labeled baby's breath again, but I would just call them small yellow flowers. After snipping them into individual pieces, I added them to my wreath, and now I'm hot gluing them into place. I'm adding in a background filler, and I'm using 3 bunches of white lavender. These I picked up on Temu. I snipped all of these into individual pieces just like the others, and now I have a good bunch to add to my wreath. I added hot glue to the end of the stems, and then I just tucked them in here and there, filling in any of the open spaces. I'm accenting the lemon sign on my wreath by using 2 of these lemons that came in a Dollar Tree 3-pack. The lemons are made out of styrofoam, so I used my knife and I cut it into 4 sections. Just like the flowers, before I permanently attach them, I'm going to evenly space them around my wreath. I ended up using 6 slices of the lemon, and now I'm hot gluing them into place. Now that I'm finishing up this wreath, I am craving a glass of lemonade, and I can't wait to hang this on my door. I'm making my coastal vase, and I'm starting with a plastic cat treat container. I have 2 cats and they are totally obsessed with these treats. The container, it measures 6.5 inches tall and about 3.25 inches wide. I wasn't sure how easy it would be to get the labels off, but I used my hairdryer on them and they peeled right off. To wrap the container, I'm using 3 of the heavier weight white nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. Both ends are wrapped in tape, so I trimmed both of those off. I added some hot glue to the top of the container and then pressed the end of the rope against the lip. From there, I continued adding hot glue onto the container and wrapping the rope around. As I was adding it, I made sure to keep the tension on the rope consistent and tight. I chose the white nautical rope for my vase, but if you're looking for something a little different, you can always use the brown nautical rope that they sell at the Dollar Tree, and I think that would look just as cute. As I was adding on the rope, I made sure to butt up the 2 ends together on the back. If you had one long continuous piece of rope, it would be perfect on both sides. But because I'm using 3 separate packages of the nautical rope, it doesn't look as perfect on the back, but when you add on the ribbon accent, it will cover most of it. I also did make sure to use a finger protector because it is so easy to burn your fingers. Now that I have the base complete, I'm going to add 1 row of the nautical rope around the top, and this will cover the plastic lip. I'm using some 1.5 inch, it's burlap with blue starfish ribbon. This came from Hobby Lobby. I actually used this in a coastal wreath that I made, and I'll link that below in case you'd like to check it out. I measured the ribbon around my vase, and then I cut it to size. I'm centering it on the front and attaching it to my vase using some hot glue. To accent the front, I'm using a starfish. I already had this on hand, and mine measures about 4 inches long. To complement the ribbon, I'm painting it with some navy blue acrylic paint. Attaching it was so easy, I just added some hot glue onto the ribbon and placed down the starfish. The best part is you can add in fresh or silk flowers. I filled mine with some pretty hydrangeas. Here we are at the end of the video, and I really hope you had fun crafting these 4 summer DIYs with me. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to click that little red subscribe button below. I'll leave a whole bunch of seasonal DIYs at the end of this video, and you can check them out in my description as well. I hope you have a healthy, a happy, and a safe day. And until next time, bye everybody!